Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Thank you for tuning in to Lock the Talk Podcast, where you guys can hear about NFL stars of tomorrow today. I'm your host, Barry Barnes, your proud host, founder and CEO of Locker-Report.com. And you guys can always go to the site to check out exclusive content on the NFL regarding the NFL Regional Combine process at your leisure. Make sure you guys go and check the site out. Please follow me on all my social handles on Twitter at Locker_Reports. On Instagram, Lock Report 100, all small caps. On Facebook, LockReport.com, and also check out the Lock the Talk podcast that's also on Facebook. Now, this is what I need you guys to do. I need you guys to do me a favor. I need you guys to go to YouTube and subscribe to Lock the Talk podcast. Subscribe to Lock the Talk podcast on YouTube. Subscribe to Lock the Talk podcast on YouTube. If you don't go to YouTube and subscribe to Lock the Talk podcast right now, we're going to be some problems. Make sure you guys go and subscribe today. See how easy that was? Go, please. Go to YouTube, subscribe to Lock the Talk podcast, where you can find this exclusive NFL content that you will not see anywhere else. Okay, folks. The NFL. Fantastic, as we all know. Week 9 was a great pairing of all kinds of upsets, all kinds of games. But in terms of the NFL Regional Combine platform, there were some good matchups in this matchup. In that week. Now, the best part, one of the cool things about this week was that we had a kicking duel. Yes, we had two kickers from the process. And Brandon McManus, kicker for the Denver Broncos, and Greg Zuerlein, kicker for the Dallas Cowboys. These two guys are going to line up and have a kicking duel in this matchup that we was all looking forward to. But there was only one problem. It was a blowout. So one of these kickers did not get a chance to really perform. Talking about Greg Zuerlein. So the one that really showcased their skill set that day was Super Bowl champion Brandon McManus when he won with the Denver Broncos several years ago. So Brandon McManus came into this matchup fired up. Now, he started off the game on a little shaky note because he did miss the extra point early in the game. That was his first extra point attempt that he missed all season. But from there, when it came down to kicks, he was on the money, including nailing this 53-yard kick that happened with 3 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the first half. That was something that he was able to do in this matchup. Really solid game that he had bestowed against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, what happened on the side with Greg Zuerlein, the Dallas Cowboys eventually scored 2 touchdowns, was late in the game, but given the situation, given the circumstances, the Cowboys went for 2-point conversions, which they were successful on, but that was late in the game. There was no way they were going to come back, and unfortunately, Greg Zuerlein really didn't get a chance to really help the Cowboys in this victory that we was expecting. But Brandon McManus, Regional Combine Pioneers, showed up, showed out, did his job for the Broncos to help keep pressure, to keep points on the board so that the Dallas Cowboys would not have an opportunity to come back. Now, these 3 points always adds up. Yes, a lot of times everyone want to see touchdowns, but the more it makes sense that you have a good kicker on your squad that can give you those 3 points, because those 3 points will add up. And that's what happened in this case, how the Denver Broncos was able to put their foot on the Cowboys' throat. And Brandon McManus played a major part in that matchup in Week 9 when the Broncos successfully went to Dallas and handed the Cowboys their second loss of the season. Now, Baltimore Ravens, we all know, a solid defensive-minded team, very physical team, knowing that when you go up against the Ravens, you better be ready to play physical on both sides of the ball. Physical offense, physical defense, so you have to be ready. This week, the Minnesota Vikings had a journey to that beautiful M&T Bank Stadium where they had to take on the mighty Baltimore Ravens. And in this matchup, knowing when we had previewed Week 9, knowing that Adam Thielen would have to be ready to prepare for that physical game, knowing that the Ravens was going to double team him, make sure they'd be physical on him, and that's what they did in this matchup. This is one of the very few games that you've seen Adam Thielen pretty much, for the most part, getting shut down. Was targeted like 7 times and only caught 2 passes for 6 yards. However, within those 6 yards, he did come through for his Vikings when they needed him, when the Vikings needed to force the game into overtime against this mighty Baltimore Ravens team. And it all started, and let's paint this picture, when it was 1 minute and 6 seconds left in regulation, the Vikings needed a touchdown to force overtime. In this situation, from the Ravens' 1-yard line, Kirk Cousins received the ball from snap, and then threw a fade to the corner to Adam Thielen, and Adam Thielen was covered very, very well. But Adam Thielen was able to get off the defender, caught the floating pass for the score, which extended the game to overtime. But before that big play happened, the Vikings had to get down the field. And when they had to get down the field to make a big play, that's when they had called the number of C.J. Ham, another NFL Regional Combine pioneer, that he was able to do something, pull off a 27-yard pass that was desperately needed for the Vikings to be able to get in position to force the game in overtime. With 2 minutes and 34 seconds left in the contest, the Vikings had faced 3rd and 3 from their 32-yard line. Cousins receiving the ball from shotgun formation, looked deep towards left and threw the ball deep to Ham, and Ham leaped up with both his hands for the reception and then wound up picking up a couple of yards after that. However, he was considered down by contact, so instead of getting those extra yards on his feet, he was down where he was landed at. But that put the Vikings in near the red zone, but it helped the drive continue. Some plays later helped the Vikings get down the field, and that's when Adam Thielen ultimately has caught the pass to force it overtime. Unfortunately, the Vikings walked away from the game without the victory, but it was still good showcasing of some good, solid NFL Regional Combine players out there trying to put their team in great situation in that matchup. This was the first time that C.J. Ham actually had more receiving yards than Adam Thielen. That was kind of funny. But all in all, I know they wish they had the victory. They was in position to have the victory, but they had to look for next week for another opportunity to try to put another win in the win column. Now, the rundown. Some good stuff that happened during the rundown. That when we saw Kumar Cruchet-Hill going up against the Miami Dolphins, his former team where he was there a year ago, he was able to go up against his team and actually hauled off 8 tackles in this matchup. But across from him, Miami Dolphins cornerback Nick Needham, who I'm a big fan of, he had 4 stops in this game, including his first sack of the season. Let's paint this picture. With 3 minutes and 32 seconds left in the first quarter, the Texans was facing 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line when quarterback Tyrod Taylor received the ball from shotgun formation. He didn't even see Nick Needham coming from his right-hand side and blasted him. Just like that, took him down. He did not fumble. The ball did come out of his hand, but he was down he was already down, so it did not force a fumble. Nick Needham, 4 tackles, his first sack of the season. We're going to talk about Nick Needham shortly in a bit when we talk about and preview Week 10 of the NFL. But that was some of the things that happened in that matchup. And then we would go to New York. New York Jets wide receiver Keelan Cole had one of the better games this season as a Jet when he was targeted 8 times, but he caught 5 passes for 66 yards against the Indianapolis Colts. And of course, Indianapolis Colts cornerback Kenny Moore, he still showed up in this matchup and showed out as he finished with 9 tackles in this matchup. New York Giants linebacker in this win, Tay Crowder, he had registered 9 tackles and had 2 pass defense in this matchup. Tay Crowder is really starting to show that he's going to be a major player in this NFL. And also with Tennessee Titans wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, he had a reception against that great win against the Los Angeles Rams. That one reception he had went for 14 yards. So now, folks, that wrapped up Week 9 of the NFL. Now we're going to slowly get right into Week 10. That's a preview, Week 10 of the NFL, and I'm sure that you guys will enjoy it. Now, we just got finished talking about Nick Needham and how he was able to perform in the game against the Houston Texans. Now, Thursday night, the Baltimore Ravens come to their stadium down in Miami where they had to fare off in this matchup. Now, Nick Needham is an aggressive cornerback. One of the cornerbacks that's pretty much on that depth chart that come in slot situation. Any type of situation they will need him to come in, Nick is going to be there. He played with a lot of heart, plays with a lot of fire. They're going to need him to be aggressive in this matchup. This is going to be the first time Nick Needham will go up against the Baltimore Ravens. He already had 37 tackles on the season. He's on pace to having the most tackles in one season since he's been in the league. Can Nick Needham be that bell cow to make certain plays against the Ravens offense? Now, Nick Needham may have his number called for some blitzes towards the great Lamar Jackson. Can he get to him? Will he get to him? what plays that he can be impactful in this game. I would not be surprised if sometimes they may have Nick Needham to spy Lamar Jackson or whoever may come in the backfield, but he's one of those guys to definitely watch out for in this matchup, where he can probably get to and make some plays or make some adjustments to make someone rethink about what they're going to do on the field. So it's going to be really interesting seeing what number 40 for the Miami Dolphins do against the Baltimore Ravens in this matchup. Now, Keelan Cole, the Jets get a chance to go against the Buffalo Bills. Now, Keelan Cole has never caught a pass against the Buffalo Bills. The last time he had played against the Buffalo Bills, he was a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he was targeted twice. Did not catch a pass. He entering this game with 16 receptions for 257 yards. Now, he has not caught a touchdown this season. Will he break the goal line in this game? It will be interesting. They definitely need, the Jets definitely want to see what's going to happen, especially if Kevin White, hopefully he's able to play. If that's the case, will not be surprised if Keelan Cole get his first touchdown of the season in this matchup. Kenny Moore, we've mentioned this guy many times, and a lot of other players. He always normally have a good game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, as he averaged 9.1 tackles each matchup. But he has never caught an interception against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Could this be the game that he catch an interception against the Jacksonville Jaguars? It's definitely going to be something to watch out for. These are some of the names to watch out for in Week 10. Of course, there's some other NFL Regional Combine players that's looking to shine in Week 10. And if they do, don't worry about it. I'm going to give you all the details, letting you know who did what in Week 10 of the NFL. Make sure you guys stay locked in. Some great stuff going on here at Lock It Talk Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Barry Barnes, founder and CEO of LockerDashboard.com. And you guys can always go to the site, check out some exclusive content on the NFL regarding the players who ventured through the NFL Regional Combine. Follow me on all of my social handles on Twitter at Locker_Reports, on Instagram, LockReport100, all small caps, on Facebook, LockReport.com, and also check out the podcast as well. That's on Facebook now. You know what I asked at the beginning of the show. I need you guys to subscribe to Lock It Talk Podcast on YouTube. I said subscribe to Lock It Talk on the Lock It Talk on YouTube today. Subscribe to the channel right now. Subscribe right now on YouTube with the Lock It Talk Podcast. See, we're all starting to agree with this. We're growing. You're seeing the numbers grow week by week. Some good stuff out there, folks. Make sure you guys stay locked in. Come back next week. We'll talk about what happened in Week 10, preview also what happened in Week 11. Hey, the evaluations starting to come out slowly but surely for the players to watch out for in the year of 2022 of the National Football League. Everyone stay blessed. Let's get it. Let's go.